Great. Appreciate everybody coming out. Really excited about this class. Got 17 new members on our football team. Really excited about these guys that have signed today. Really fit a lot of the needs that we were looking for moving into the season. We've got some guys that have some length, some guys that have some speed. We got some bigger bodies that we added, so we're really excited about that. These guys are from 8 states and 1 international player, which was kind of unique, and we were excited to get that young man in. And 10 to 11 of these guys are going to be early enrollees, which is going to be really good for us to get a jump start with them, get a chance to work with them in the weight room, have them in spring football, and hopefully be able to make a contribution to our team here real soon. Again, very excited about those guys, and just hitting some of the needs there. Signed probably 4 to 5 receivers, one of them being an athlete. He can go both ways. I really felt like we had some need there to add some depth in that area. We're going to add 3 to 4 offensive linemen here that I think 3 of these guys will probably be early enrollees that will help us as well in spring ball. We're adding 3 defensive linemen. Again, that's going to add depth for us. 3 defensive backs and 2 specialists. I'm really excited about our 2 specialists, one being a kicker, one being a punter. I think those guys will do a great job. And added a tight end that I felt like we needed more depth in that area. I'm really excited about that young man as well. But like most people say, it's an exciting day. I think though we really did a good job of identifying the players that we needed to identify and moving forward, and I think it's really going to help our program. With that being said, any questions?
Tyson, and I'll preface this with, I know it's been a whirlwind. There's 3 guys on here. Since they're on here, I figure you can comment on them publicly that I've covered a lot. Clayton Bush, Jack Randolph, and Davin Smith. And Davin obviously is a little different situation here too. Just your thoughts on them. I can speak firsthand. They're quality young men. Your thoughts as well.
Yeah, just really excited about those guys. Obviously, in-state guys that and close to the area as well. When I was here before, we had a lot of success that were close with guys that were close to home. Clayton Bush, to me, he's a guy that's won a championship. He knows how to win. He can play both sides of the ball. I think that's really good for us moving forward. You look at Davin Smith. Davin's a big, tall receiver that will be able to come in the spring and add some depth there. And then you add Jack Randolph, who I'm really excited about. He'd been previously committed to another school. We were able to get him late. He's a guy that's won championships as well, and he'll be here in the spring. So to have the opportunity to get all 3 of those guys in the spring, get moving, get training with those guys is going to be a big deal for us.
It was obviously a pretty public situation what went on with Jack. Can you kind of run down the days where, when all that became public, what your next step was and how you guys were able to get him here and kind of finish things off with that?
I think, you're recruiting 24/7. You're always turning over every stone, looking at, everywhere you can. And he came available, and for us it was at the perfect time. We were looking for that body type. We wanted to add another offensive lineman. And with him being so close to home, I thought it was just a perfect fit. Had a chance to visit with him, visit with his mom and dad. What a great family. He's very dedicated. He knows what he wants out of his college career. So really excited about him.
Tyson, I know you have coached at a number of different places in the country, but the fact that you had to hit the ground running in a domain that you at least were very familiar with, how much did that help?
Oh, it helped a ton. I think just anytime you're familiar with the landscape, been there and done that, it gives you a little bit of advantage. I know the area well. I know this part of the country well. And to comment on too, a lot of these guys, I should say a lot, but over half of these guys were committed, But I'm familiar where the schools were that they're committed from. I know those coaches. To be able, again, to retain some of our staff who had relationships with these young men. So I was able to get a lot of things done really quick, and I think that's why we have such a good class. I was able to get to know these young men, get to know who they are, who their families are, and just having that familiarity really helped along with the process.
How quickly do you expect Manny Allen to get on the field and make an impact?
In a perfect world right away. But, like anything, you got to come in and compete. Manny is a very talented young man, but I'm really excited about all of our receivers, to be honest with you. Everyone has a little bit of a different skill trait. Everybody brings something unique to the table. I think Tyler Smith is a guy that can take the top end off of it. Jeremiah Fales is a guy that's a strong runner with the ball. Dalvin's a big body, and then you look at Manny. Manny's kind of that elusive guy that's savvy and can get open and find windows and can do something with it when he catches. So very excited about all those guys in that receiving corps. But look, he'll be early enrollee as well, and to get the opportunity to work with him in the spring and kind of see what he can do, we're looking forward to it.
Is he the guy that you recruited when you were at USC?
Knew very much about him. Yeah, I was not personally his recruiter, but was around him and got a chance to watch him play. So again, just being familiar with him and knowing what he could do helped us in the recruiting process.
Tyson, to follow up on your opening statement, how excited you are and how happy you are. Take all of us away, hypothetically, your gut instinct and your heart. How good do you feel about these 17?
Really good. I really good. Anytime you sign a class, you never know what's going to turn out with them. But you got to look at the whole body of work and say, can we as coaches develop these guys? Do they carry the skill traits you're looking for each and every position? And I really feel like this class does. You look at the character of these young men, the family backgrounds, where these guys are from, the level of football they've played. You got several guys that have won championships, like I said before, several guys that have played at such a high level in their high school careers. So I feel really good. I feel like, plus these guys coming in are early enrollees, having the opportunity to work with them early on is going to be very beneficial to us. So I'm excited about it. I really am. And we left a couple spots open as well. We'll go back out in January, re-identify some guys, and make sure that we finish up in February strong as well.
Is quarterback a priority for the February, signing day?
Yeah, we're always going to look for a quarterback. It's no secret that if you're going to be successful in this conference, you got to have a good trigger man. I'll say it again. I really like the guys that are here currently. I'm looking forward to developing those guys, but we're always looking for competition, and so we'll always be looking for a quarterback to add in on this class.
Talking about Marcus Bragg and Trey Meadows, the two JUCO guys you added, what kind of instant impact do you think that them can make?
We'll see when they come in, but I'm really excited about, you look at Marcus, he's going to be a big man. He's a long, tall body. You can move him around, do a lot of different things with him, but as Coach V gets an opportunity to train him in the weight room, he's going to be a big man. And then you look at Trey. Trey's a big corner. He's got a lot of length. He's got a lot of game experience. I think he'll bring maturity to the position. So those are two guys right away that we hope can come in and be able to compete early.
Which of these signings do you think was the biggest challenge to get a signature from?
Ooh, that's a good question. We had I'm gonna say this. We had about 3 or 4 battles that you should have late that were fun to have, but we won them. So that's all I'll say about that. So I'm glad that we won them.
Coach, I'll word this carefully. I think you can comment about this, but in general, based on who has signed so far, what would you like to see with your eventual signees and hopeful signees in the spring?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Sorry, so what they can do?
Yeah.
Say it one more time.
Okay. With this, what do you still hope to accomplish with your class of 2019?
Right.
It can be in general, so if you can't.
We'll like we said, we'll still look for a quarterback. I think that's something we need to do. We think we still would like to, maybe add a pass rusher. We're always looking for big men. Big men are premium in this conference. So that will be big for us. And then you look at the guys we signed, the early enrollees, to get an opportunity to develop those guys. I would really like to see if we, some of those guys compete very early for positions, maybe win jobs. and by the end of spring. So, you know, you got the combination of guys that are going to compete and contribute early with guys that are probably going to need to still develop. You know, they're still young. And, you know, so to answer part of your question, we'll continue to look for the guys we need to look for with the rest of the class, and then develop the ones we got here with coming in early.
How much of an advantage is it for these guys that are enrolling early to get a head start on college football?
It's huge. You know, I consider it a bonus, you know, for a high school kid to have the opportunity to come in, get in the weight room, train, get bigger, stronger, faster, learn the system both offensively or defensively, or whichever position he plays, to be able to compete is big. And if he's not ready to play, though, just to have that opportunity to be ahead of everybody else when he comes back in the fall, the rest of these signees is going to be really big for us. So, again, we'll have 11 or 12 of those guys being early enrollees, so that'll be really important moving forward.
Coach, how do you think your staff has done? I know they had to hit the ground running too, but just their recruiting efforts so far. Are you a proud parent in a way?
I'm going to tell you, I can't say enough about our staff. I mean, anytime I light up when I get questions asked about our guys. I think we got a tremendous staff. I'm very blessed to have these guys. They are so strong in so many areas. You know, I've talked about before, they're good coaches, they're good educators, they're good family men, but they are very strong recruiters, and they have great relationships in a lot of areas. Where, you know, some of the questions where you're like, hey, who did you battle to get guys, and how did you find guys, is because of our assistant coaches, you know, just being so experienced and having relationships in recruiting. So our staff is very strong, very tremendous in that area in recruiting, and I think that's why we were able to put together such a solid class so quickly.
Coach,
Yeah.
I noticed like about a third of your recruits here have signed and played the wide receiver position. Do you feel like that was a team need, or do you happen to see maybe a few of them changing position?
Well, I think, you know, you look at, we had about 5 to 6 guys really on scholarship currently in the receiver position, and if we're going to go out there and throw it around the park, we better add some more. So that was an area of need. I've said it before, I really like the guys on our team, but we better add a lot more if we're going to be successful throwing the ball. So that's why we went out and signed the guys that we did. And we'll continue to look for guys that are difference makers, you know, when they come available, whether it's a transfer, grad transfer, or a guy that's in junior college that's graduating in May. You know, that will always be an area for us that we put a premium on, for sure.
I don't think we've talked to you since you announced Coach Larice and Coach Goff. Can you just kind of talk about what kind of attributes you think make them good in these jobs, and why you wanted to hire them?
Yeah, you know, Mike Goff to me is a guy that's so experienced. I mean, he's played 12 years in National Football League. I had an opportunity to work with him at USC, to watch him work daily and be around him, and the relationships he had with his players was tremendous. And that's really why I thought he was a perfect fit for us moving forward. I know our players will play hard for him. He's a player's coach, so I can't say enough about him. And then, you know, Andy LaRussa, who's going to be our safety special teams coordinator, again, coming from USC, I think he'll do a fabulous job in that area, especially on the special teams side. He's had a lot of experience. He's learned from a mentor of mine as well, that we have a lot of similarities in our beliefs and what special teams should be and how they should play. So really excited about that. And then Chris Chestnut, you know, our receivers coach from Tennessee State, you know, had an opportunity to visit with Randy Fietner, the offense coordinator of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and close with Randy. And Randy had worked with Coach Chestnut before and sung his praises. And, you know, being able to hire a guy like him and being around him now for this past month, and, you know, I really think I hit jackpot with the receivers coach there. And so, you know, just fired up about those guys. And then Montario Hardesty, you know, you look at him coming in from Tennessee, was an excellent player, played in the NFL, a good young coach, going to be a great recruiter for us. I think he fits us perfect here. So I can't say enough about all those new coaches, and then being able to complement that, the guys that we have here that we were able to retain. That's why I think we got such a great staff.
Can I ask ask one question? Now
Yeah.
you get your staff. When you're looking at their personalities, is it safe to say, and this is not a criticism of your personality, because you have great personality, but you don't want everybody with your exact same personality. Is it kind of a mix and match with, does that?
No, that's really important.
Yeah.
You know, you want your guys to have juice, you know, the guys that are going to be loud and vocal. You know, I'm kind of an even keel guy. I have my ups and downs. I can flip the switch when I need to. Everybody knows that. But, yeah, even the players, I want all different personalities in the room. That's what makes good football teams. So I think we got a good mix of young coaches and coaches that are experienced. And I think it makes for a good staff, and I think it's going to benefit our football team.
Anything else? Thanks, guys.
All right,